Good morning. I'm Nyla O, the founder of Homegirls Hummus, and welcome to Confessions of a Founder Over 50. Confession number one. This is not what I thought life would be. This is not the first episode I've recorded. This is actually the fourth. But for the first time, I feel like I have something to share that really pulls you into this journey. I turned 50 last year. I started working for my company full-time at the age of 46. I got furloughed at the age of 45. I had a decent job working for a decent company. I was a makeup artist for years, over 20 years, and I was living in LA. And all of a sudden, life changed. And this is not what I had in mind. But I'll tell you something. This is what I got, so I gotta rock with it. This is a day that I'm choosing to not go out early and start my day and start filling it with stuff to pacify what's going on in my head. I'm usually up at the crack of dawn and I'm planning and I'm trying to figure out what do I have to do today so that I can make my company more successful, or so that I can pay my mortgage, or so that I can pay the rent in my retail space, or so I can put gas in my car. I know it sounds a bit of a downer, but it's not. It's usually pretty wonderful, pretty exciting, especially this time of the year. The sun is out, it's warm outside. I have so many things to be grateful for. But I have so many things that make me feel empty. And if you'll stick around with me for a little bit and get to know me, you can probably relate. You probably have something to add to this conversation. Listen, I am your favorite homegirl, Nyla O. I am the founder of Homegirls Hummus. I lost my father in 2018. I lost my mother in 2020. Between that, I lost my favorite cousin who was like a sister and my grandmother. I lost one of my favorite places in the world to live because I moved back in 2020 to care for my mother when her sickness became unmanageable, and I decided to come and support my sister in caring for my mother. So, how do we get here? That's what you want to know? Let's go. Listen, from 2014 to 2020, I was living in Los Angeles as a makeup artist full-time, living my dreams, or so I thought, right? I had also started my company, Homegirls Hummus, during that time. I was living in one of the most beautiful places in the world, California. LA, kind of grimy, interesting. Not the worst. Actually, one of the best places that I've ever visited and some of the best people I've ever met. The city itself, interesting, right? The first time I landed at LAX airport, I'm like, where am I? Is this it? Like, this is the city of glitz and glamour, and this airport is the best you got? Oh, it's made improvements. Now, in the year of 2026, LAX is actually contending, right? It's gotten better. So, 2014 to 2020, I was living in LA. When I first moved out there, I did not have a job. I went out there literally on a wing and a prayer and a prophecy. We'll get into that at another time. But I felt like my time here in Chicago had come to an end and I needed to do something different for my life. So I moved to LA, really not knowing anybody, not having any job prospects, but a little bit of money saved. And a friend of a friend who became a friend who offered me a room. And I said yes. I moved out there. I met some wonderful people. Things started to pick up. I got reconnected with my old job, working for MAC Cosmetics. Started off part-time. Met a great friend who became my roommate, and then eventually got my own place. People say LA is super expensive to live, but I got my own place living part-time. It's just whatever you choose to do. And where I was living was not the worst, actually. I loved my studio. It was in a very high traffic area. Like, not high traffic as in I was living off the expressway, right? But high traffic as in it was a big community of apartment buildings and people and children and all these other things. And I met some wonderful people, some of the closest friends of my life while I was living in LA. And I'm very grateful for that experience. By the time 2018, 2019 hit, I had become a manager at MAC against my better judgment, right? Because my goal for going out there was to become a celebrity makeup artist and do makeup for the Oscars and the Emmys and maybe the Grammys and maybe American Music Awards, which I did some of those things. And I'm very grateful that God blessed me with some of the desires of my heart. Got an opportunity to go to the American Black Film Festival with my friend who was my roommate that became my friend, and that was an amazing experience. At that time I was watching a lot of Deion Cole stand-up on Netflix. I think it was Cold-Hearted, and I was watching it over and over again. I would watch it when I was getting ready for work in the morning because it was so funny and I needed that boost. And you know, we go through those times in life where you're high and then you're low, you have your lows. It's just part of life. Life is a series of hills and valleys. I got to meet Deion Cole, which honestly, it confirms my belief that whatever it is that you concentrate on, whatever it is you constantly see will come to fruition. And I'm not talking about manifestation in the woo-woo sense of the word, but I am talking about the biblical principle that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if you continue to think on things, whether they're good or bad, they will show up in your life, because that's what the Lord said, okay? That's what God said. 2020 started off being a great year. That ABFF and meeting Deion Cole happened in 2020, the beginning of the year. Also, I think that was the year that Kobe died. And I was at work the morning it happened, doing makeup for a bride. No, not a bride, for a lady who was going to a celebrity wedding. Because that's the kind of thing that happens in LA. You live out there, everything is clandestine and a fantasy and celebrity enchanted and all that stuff. And it was an exciting life. It was an exciting time. I was a different girl back then. Definitely a very different girl. And within a few weeks after all of that, the world shut down. And things changed forever. We got furloughed. We got a deposit in our accounts, the most money that I had ever seen in my accounts, the most. My mom had already been dealing with a condition with her lungs, and she was using portable oxygen at this time. And although it was painful to see her like that, she was still coping and being strong and doing her thing and managing the best that she could. At that time, she had moved out of our family home, which was a 2-flat building on the south side of Chicago in Inglewood. And she moved into my sister's condo, closer to where my sister and her husband lived, so my sister could access her better, and so my mother didn't have so much property to worry about. She kept asking me to come and visit, please come and visit her for my birthday, which was in June of that year. And I really was afraid to come because I was afraid of what was happening with the world and the pandemic. And like, I didn't want to get on a plane and contract COVID and bring it to my mother. She was already having issues with her lungs and breathing, and I didn't want that to be an issue for her. So she kept saying to me, I would really love if you would come here for your birthday. Spend your birthday at home with me. I would love to see you. And I know, like, it was a pandemic, and my mom, you know, she was by herself and she was lonely and she wanted to see her child, and she also wanted to make sure that I was okay. I'm the youngest, by the way. So I finally obliged. I bought myself a ticket to come home. I was going to be here for 2 weeks, spend my birthday here, and then I was gonna go to Minneapolis for a week to spend a week with one of my best friends, and I was gonna go back home to LA. I got here, and the day after I got here, we had to, take my mom to the hospital because she had swelling in her legs, on her ankles. And my sister and my mom were both nurses. So whenever you're holding fluid, you get the swelling. And when you press your thumb into that area, if it doesn't come right back out and there's an indentation, that means that you have fluid. You're holding fluid, and that's not good. So my sister decided to take her to the doctor, and they wound up keeping her. And then that was during a time where we couldn't go see our loved ones in the hospital, so they just do whatever they do, right? And we all know that, unfortunately, the medical industry is not what it used to be. So my mom was in the hospital for a while, maybe 4 or 5 days, and they're kept coming in with this team of doctors. Of course, we couldn't talk to them. They was coming in talking to her. And eventually they released her from the hospital and took her to a rehab facility. Of course, again, it's during a pandemic, so you really can't go and check on your loved ones. So they're doing whatever. They're giving my mom the wrong medicine. She's talking on the phone with us, and she's delirious. It was a very, 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 very dark time in life. Eventually, my sister and I, more so my sister, because she's always she gonna be the bad guy, because she the one who this what we about to do. And I'm just like, okay. She's 8 years older than me. We busted her out of the rehab facility. We busted her out on my birthday, on my 45th birthday. No. Yeah. My 45th birthday. We busted her out of the rehab facility and brought her home. I'm not getting into all the details on how that happened. I'm not trying to give you any ideas. Just know that we brought her home on my actual birthday, and that day was a monsoon outside. It was like the craziest birthday ever. And I actually went on an errand to go pick up some food for my family, and I went by to go see a homie and kind of decompress because I was in such a space, a very sad space, a space of feeling sorry for myself, all the things, because I was like, this is my birthday. This is horrible. This is the most triggering birthday ever. This is life, right? We all go through those things. And I'm sharing this with you because the reality of it is that these are the things that happen to me, but I'm not a victim of circumstance, and it does get better. So I, come back home. I do a video on live on my Facebook that day for my birthday. I believe it was that day. And then I go and I get this food and I go visit with the homie, and then I'm back home, and happy birthday to me, right? So I'm thinking, I have to move back home. I have to help my sister. My sister lives in a residence 10 minutes away. She cannot possibly work and be a wife and take care of my mother, and my mother now needs more help than she did before. Before, she was pretty independent. At this time, she's weak in her body, she's weak in her mind, and she is a little bit more dependent. And so I was here and I supported her, and I decided that I was gonna leave LA and move back home. That's what I decided. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, absolutely. At this time, I was completely plant-based, and I was trying to help my mother through nutrition, cooking foods that she didn't normally eat. Of course, I would give her some of the stuff she really wanted, but then some of the stuff that I thought that I could do couldn't have a lot of sodium, because that also helps to cause your body to retain fluids and all of that. So I really had to figure some things out for my mom and for myself. Went back to LA with one of my closest friends. She helped me pack up my place. At the time, I had a roommate again, my same roommate from before. We had an amazing 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Inglewood, like 2 blocks away from the new stadium. We had locked in our rent security for a couple more years so there wouldn't be any rent hikes and all of that. It was a perfect situation. And I had to wind up saying, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to live here. I have to move back. At the time, my job, we were still furloughed, so I just was rocking with that. I went back, I packed up everything. I was home for about a month, maybe 6 weeks. And then we went back, we packed me up. I had my final farewell. Some of my really good girlfriends gave me a beautiful, beautiful going away party. Again, some of the best friendships of my life. Some of my core support system. Amazing women who I will never forget, who I still am in communication with. So I moved back home and I'm here. And I am depressed, okay, baby? I am depressed. I think I officially moved back home like, I don't know, August, September. I just know it was 3 months. I think I ended my lease for August 30th. So September, October, November, or maybe September 30th. I don't know. I just know that I was home for 3 months. Sad, depressed, all the things. And I had to tell myself, you have to stop saying that you're sad. You have to stop saying that you don't want to be here. You chose to come back. You chose to come and support your mother. There's no place in the world that I would have rather been than here with my mom, helping to support her. The woman who raised me and loved me helped me when I wasn't able to help myself. So of course I want to be here to support my sister and to help my mom. And it brought me a lot of joy to be able to cook for her, to help her with her baths, to just whatever she needed. It was a very stressful time though, and there was a lot of tension with me and some family members and stuff like that. Not getting into all that, but this is life. So December comes around, December 3rd, my mother transitions. I'm holding her hand. I'm praying with her because that night she could not sleep. She just kept getting up. She couldn't get comfortable. She just kept getting up. And so eventually I went and laid in the bed with her. I'm like, what is happening? And in the back of my head, it was like, her body's shutting down. She's passing. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Jeez freaking Louise. I'm here by myself, 45 years old. No husband, no kids, no dog, no cat, no rat, nothing, right? And I am literally holding my mother's hand as she transitions from time into eternity, because that's what they like to put on the funeral programs. That's like what they like to say at the funerals. My mother transitioned, it was just me and her, and you could have never told me that I would have had the strength to hold my mother's hand as she transitioned. But that is what happened. And I'm still here in my right mind, and I live to tell. A lot of the things that we fear, we don't think that we're capable of doing. We are more than capable. Anyway, my mom transitioned, and I was like, what in the entire heck? What am I doing now, God? You brought me back here. I've only been here for like 3 months. I'll say 4, let's be generous. What is happening? You knew my mother was going to die. What is going on? Why did you bring me back here for such a short period of time? I gave up my beautiful apartment. I gave up my beautiful life in Los Angeles. I told my job I wasn't going to come back when they started bringing us back into the workspace. What am I supposed to do? Ding, 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 ding. He said to me, now is the time. Now is the time for you to do some of the things you've always wanted to do. You have money coming in. You have somewhere to live. You're back in Chicago, a place that I did not want to be. And this is your time to figure it out. If you could do anything that you ever wanted to do, what would you do? What's your game plan? I had some thoughts. For a while, I had a subscription box business. It was called the Cute and Curvy Baddie Box. For plus size girls, you get a really cute t-shirt that I designed. And then you get like really cute stuff, like cutesy life stuff. I continued doing stuff with my fashion business. And I was also playing around with my hummus business because I didn't really think, right, that would be my for real business, like my for real full-time business that I would be doing, right? So I was doing all these other things, and finally I said, okay, let me give this a fair shot, this homegirls hummus thing that I started in 2016 living in California. The people loved the hummus, but I just didn't think the hummus was enough to build a life on. It's hummus, for God's sake. I officially got my LLC registration in Chicago in 2026. No, not in 2026. My bad. I'm not editing anything because that's not my ministry. You're gonna get these videos how I record them, okay, friend? I officially got my LLC registration in Chicago in 2021. And I dived into this thing fully. And when I tell you that this was better than I could have ever imagined. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But this is a gift that God gave me that I am giving to you guys. So this is my first confession. Not the first video I recorded, but my first confession. And I really want to take you on this journey with me. The reason I did this video this morning was because I was laying in my bed and I was feeling sad. There's a lot of things happening in my life right now that are kind of not what I want. I'll say that. But they're what I got. And honestly, I was in my bed feeling a little sad, and I was like, how did I get here? My business, it's doing pretty well. I'm grateful. Cash flow right now is a little slow, but we're coming out of slow season, so I'm not even tripping because I know things are going to change. Things that are happening around me are not the desired things. It's some heavy stuff that's happening around me, but this is life, right? Things are happening with friends. They're happening with family. I'm in a different kind of space, like emotionally, spiritually, all of that. But I was laying in bed because I'm single. I don't have children. I don't have a pet. I don't have time for a pet. I just came back from an amazing vacation in Bali, so I'm grateful for that. What I have going for my life right now is my business, which is loved in Chicago and around the country. And it is, by all intents and purposes, doing pretty well. And I have my ability to travel, which I've taken my one big one for the year. That's going to be it for 2026. I can't talk about 2027, but right now, I have vowed to stay still, to stay present, and to work on my business and to save money and to pay down debt. So that is what I'm doing. Can you relate to this? Have you made it to 45? Have you made it to 50? Are there things in your life that you would like to do, but you're terrified to do? Have you written yourself out? Do you feel like this is your last chapter? It's not. Honestly, I'll be 51 in a couple months, and I feel like I'm 25 most days in my head. In my body is something different. But I will tell you, life gets better. You're 30, you're 35, you're 40, you're frustrated. Keep living. Things are going to happen beyond your control. It may not be always the way that you want, but the only thing that you have control of is how you respond to those things. And it does get better. This is my fourth act. 5, 6 more acts to go. Listen, I'm making it to 10 acts, okay? 10 acts. So let's go in chronological order then. This is my 5th act because I'm 50. 5 more acts at least to go. What do I plan for my life? More adventures, some love, some fun, maybe adopting a kid or two. I don't know, but I tell you what. Join me on this journey. It's not perfect. It's not always cute, but it's what I got. This has been the first confession of Confessions of a Founder Over 50, and I'm Nyla O, your favorite homegirl. Listen, when we enter the chat, we speak. So right now in your comments, I would love for you to be like, hey, honey, make me feel like I'm not by myself. Because right now, at this moment in my life, I feel very alone and I don't like it. So I need to be in community. One of my favorite things in life is to be in community, to have people around, to be in community, to laugh and to joke, to live and to love, to support. And I want you to be a part of my community. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was kind of heavy, but I promise you it gets better. I am a person of optimism and inspiration, and I am going to give you the things that you need to help to carry you to your next adventure. So if you're over 45 and you are in a crisis of life, I don't want to call it a midlife crisis, and you are trying to figure out your next steps, you've come to the right place. Like, I just want to share my experiences with you. I want to give you some joy. I want to give you some inspiration. I want to give you some laughter. I might be able to tell you about a date or two. I don't know yet. I don't know, because these dudes is tripping. But I want to share this journey with you. So if you like what I had to say and you want to stick around and you want to be my homeboy, my homegirl, whatever, subscribe, like, even share with some people who you think could use this message. I just want to share my story because it's my story. And you'll probably be able to relate. Life is not what I thought it would be, but it's what I got. So since it's what I got, we're going to live this thing, okay? Again, my name is Nyla O. Nyla is the first name. O is the first letter of my last name. I am your favorite homegirl. And this is Confessions of a Founder Over 50. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. There's going to be more, and it's going to get better, I promise. For you and for me. Bye, honey.